masculinity isn't actually that widespread.
By and large, men are pretty good people. Not very eye-catching, is it? As we watch the Gillette advertisement, which publicly rethinks their view of the classic motto, the best a man can get, we need to keep in mind one simple fact. Gillette is in business to sell razors. Given this, it simply does not make sense to think that the company would risk alienating their primary customers by making sweeping generalizations about them not being decent people. That would be like Nike making a commercial saying everyone who walks has some terrible moral flaw, or like Campbell's telling everyone who eats soup is an idiot. Maybe society doesn't know how to react when a corporate interest takes a chance by making severe social commentary that may benefit all. I must say I disagree with the assertion that the ad in question unfairly targets all men. Even though toxic masculinity is terrible, it is not widespread. While tragic to the victims and their families, recent events we're seeing in the news cycles, such as Weinstein, Cosby, even the president, have presented society with an opportunity. As we see violent and disrespectful behavior dominate the headlines, we're given a chance to have a conversation. This discussion involves asking ourselves what we want to be, as a society and as individuals. As Colleen Clemens, a professor at Kutztown University, points out in her piece on this issue, what we mean when we say toxic masculinity. There is an opportunity to talk about gender roles and how we view them. This report specifically discusses the role that strength and even violence play in how boys learn to identify and express gender. The idea is that boys learn that physical strength is equated with masculinity, and that domination by force is a legitimate expression of power. The tone of the Gillette ad seems to speak to these issues. The ad seems to suggest that we should ask ourselves what it means to be good and what it means to be a man. If we find that in the past we have not been our best, we should try to be better. The ad even goes beyond the self-reflection and seems to encourage us not to be afraid to step up and step in to help stop people from becoming victims. These sentiments are a far cry from accusing all who shave of rampant toxic masculinity. This ad continues to carry this tone by reminding men that they are role models and encouraging them to be the best role model they can be. For example, let's consider one of my best friends who doesn't have a toxic masculine bone in his body. I don't expect him to stop people from bullying everywhere or to stop the violence I see on TV. We were out to eat one night, something small, the bill was around $10. I saw him tip the server $100. I asked him why he did it, and he said he thought the person needed it. He was just being nice. A decent human being trying to do what he can for someone else in the world. That's the kind of role model we can use more of. While the Gillette ad may offend some, it seemed to me to act as a reminder for us all to be nice, be decent, and do what we can, and be role models to those around us. There are those who will disagree with what I'm saying, those who would argue that this problem is so widespread that the individual examples, like mine, are the minority of cases. Whether or not it is widespread depends on the definition of extensive, so instead I will take a different approach. We should adopt a zero-tolerance policy regarding this behavior and say that any toxic masculinity is too much, no matter how widespread. If we take that stance, then Gillette is not attacking all men, but encouraging all men to be better. My examples indicate that men can retain their masculinity and be good, and the ad is imploring us to examine ourselves and act as need to be critically self-evaluate ourselves. This action includes self-correcting our attitude, helping others as needed, and being good role models. This